This year's festive season saw many people from the diaspora visiting the country for their holidays. The tourism and hospitality industry are one of the major factors or sectors that benefited from the celebration in this year's season. Let's get a sense of what business was like from operators in the sector during the Christmas season. Joining us via Zoom is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr. For more, Dr. Akanyamike Jr., grateful you could join me on the marketplace. Now, how would you describe the Christmas season for your members compared to last year?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I will say in very simple terms, it's been better than last year.
Let's look at the numbers in terms of patronage. Was it encouraging?
That would be difficult to tell for now. We are looking at the compilation of the figures, but quite a number of factors have influenced the performance in this Yuletide, and then also the feedback that we are getting so far indicates that some of the factors has been the Destination Ghana promotion, which the president launched, the domestic tourism promotion, and then the aggressive marketing by the players in the industry, especially the tour operators, the hotels, the car rentals, and we've all been out there with packages which a lot of our people have taken advantage of. And indeed, this Yuletide is the first free, if I should put it that way, Yuletide after COVID-19, when all the restrictions were lifted. So, and of course, the December in GH, it's caught on very well. And this year has been great, better than last year. So you look at all these factors, and that has also promoted our business.
I am looking at how we can sustain these feats we've achieved over the period. How do you think we can sustain that?
Well, the major component of all this is the business environment in which we operate in, because even with the better patronage that I'm talking about, the better performance I'm talking about, I haven't looked at the other side, which is the cost of operation, which has been quite high. Okay, we know that the city is appreciating the way we are looking forward to inflation coming down a bit against the fuel prices, which are also coming down. But for now, we are yet to see that significant change in our cost of operation. So if the business environment continues to improve, which of course includes the inflation I've spoken about, the fuel prices, the exchange rate, and of course the tax system, you are aware that 2.5% has been added to the VAT, which means that our clients are going to pay a bit higher than they were paying. So what will make the system move on is the business environment, and a lot of that points to the doorstep of government. We as an industry, we as the hotel business will continue to strive to do more marketing, reduce the cost of our operation, but a lot of them are beyond our means. I mean, you can talk about electricity, which was recently increased as well, water, which was also increased. Okay, so we look at all these factors, and they kind of provide some challenges to us. But by and large, we will continue to strive because we are a very resilient industry. But if the government pushes for the environment to be better, that will play very well for us as an industry.
Well, I don't know what you make of the finance minister's position when he did mention that 2023 is not going to be anything better, if that is what it is. How are you going to position yourself to, absorb the shocks?
You see, my brother, it's the hotel business is like any other business. At the end of the day, you would want to ensure that you have a fair balance between your inflows and your outflows, so that you have some profit for your shareholders and you're able to pay your salaries and all other regulatory fees as well. Okay, now, when this system presents you with some level of cost of operation, it means that then your clients or your patrons or your guests will also have to pay in line with that cost of operation to keep in business. Otherwise, we'll fold up and there wouldn't be any hotel for anybody to even go and lodge in. Okay, so at the end of the day, the burden will always go to the clients. The hotels do a lot to cushion some of these increases in prices and inflation and all that. But it gets to a point where if you're not careful, like I said earlier on, you run yourself out of business. So we will continue to monitor the environment that we are operating in, and we'll continue to ensure that we are not overburdening the customer, but at the same time, making sure that we are in business. And that's a fine balance that every hotel will strive in this 2023. So if the finance minister says that the environment, the economic environment is not going to get any better, it simply means that we are also going to ensure that we position ourselves such that we don't run ourselves out of business. And that is where the balance between our cost and what the client can also afford comes in. And we'll strive to do it well because the industry is a basic necessity. And we have to put it in that context that people will always want a place to lodge, people will continue to travel, people will continue to go out of their own areas, and accommodation is a basic necessity. It has to be provided, but we have to provide it at a cost that our clients can manage, and we can also get something small to keep our businesses going.
Let me take you back to the Christmas season where you recorded some significant patronage. I just want to know how that will contribute to the revenue stream of the sector.
Well, when you say revenue stream, are you talking about taxes to government?
Exactly, taxes from the sector to government. Yeah.
Oh, well, any hotel worth its salt, okay, it's obliged to pay taxes based on its operations. I mean, this is very basic, and I know that most of the hotels are doing that, especially now that we are able to sit in the comfort of our homes and of our offices and file our tax returns, whether it is VAT, NHIL, whether it's the PE and all that. So indeed, if we want to know the actual performance of the industry within this unit, and I'm sure either the statistical service or GRA could come up somewhere in January to say that during the December, this is how this is what we received from the hotel industry based on the value-added taxes that they paid, based on the NHIL that they paid, the GET Fund, the COVID-19, and then the other levies that we pay to other regulatory bodies. So every hotel, I must say, would have done its part in paying these taxes, and I'm sure the government will be smiling all the way to the bank.
Now, one major issue has to do with the cost for hotels in Ghana, basically, and it's still a major challenge. How are you working at that? Are we likely to see a reduction in terms of rates?
I always love to quote our honorable minister, Dr. Mohamed Awal, when it comes to the cost of hotel rooms and services. I remember he indicated that government and the industry players, the hoteliers, need to sit down to see how best we can manage that perceived high hotel rates in Ghana. And that is to say that the hotel rates in Ghana, it's a factor of government's own performance and then the performance of the hoteliers as well. Because our cost of operation is dictated by the environment in which we operate in. we pay taxes, we pay levies, we pay regulatory bodies, we pay copyrights, we pay salaries, we pay electricity, we pay water, and a whole host of other expenses, maintenance, with the artisans, with the carpenters, the masons, the painters, and all that. Now, we put all these together, and a lot of them are factors of the economic environment. So long as we are operating with now 15% value-added tax, and then the COVID-19 1% is still there, NHIL is still there, the GET fund is still there. We also pay 1% levy to the tourism authority and all that. These are costs that are not dependent on the hotel per se. We can do everything to reduce our costs. We can use energy-saving bulbs. We can ensure that our electricity consumption is lower, water consumption is lower, and all that. But there are some constant factors which we can't do much about it. Whether you like it or not, you have to pay the NHIL. Whether you like it or not, you have to pay the GET fund.
All right.
Whether you like it or not, and all that. So these issue about cost of operation or hotel rates are things that cannot be solved by only hoteliers. It has to be a collaboration between us and then the government as
well. Very well. Very well. Thank you very much, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr., who is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association, speaking to us on the back of the successes chalked after the Christmas festivity. Let's move on to some other stories we have for you. Rather, it is our earlier story where the IMF has indicated it will engage partnering countries basically to see to it that the debt cancellation of most developing countries are done. Let's get a perspective on an economist, Dr. Ebo-Texin, for more on this. Grateful, Dr. Ebo-Texin, for your time here on the program. Now, I'm pretty sure you may have listened to the IMF Managing Director. What do you make of this move by the fund of a possible debt cancellation for Ghana and other debt-distressed countries?
Thank you, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. I think that it has come as a good news to us. Obviously, the IMF is aware that these countries need support. And as we have approached them for support, they are trying to help us sort out our debt issues. And if you remember, we have been making mention of the fact that our external debt has to also be discussed. And so I think that if the IMF is going to play a leading role in helping these countries to engage these international creditors for a possible debt rescheduling or cancellation, I think that it will help. In our IMF program that we have concluded discussions and we are waiting for other prerequisites before we have access to the funding. Right. So it's come as a good news. It's certainly it will help in the negotiations with the creditors, because the fund has the pedigree and the credibility to discuss with our international creditors for them to give us some debt relief, possible cancel some of the debt so that we can bring our debt levels to very low levels as we move into the fund program to recover back our economy.
All right. So what would be the impact of this on the economy if indeed it materializes?
I wanted to do initially would be the fact that it will ease off some of the pressure from the domestic revenue that we use for servicing our debt. Don't forget that it is the first prerequisite for the IMF program for us to bring our debts to sustainable levels so that we can free some space so that we can use whatever resources that we get out of freeing that space to go into the productive sectors of the economy, to expand the economy, to be able to generate more wealth, more income, more tax revenue, to be able to sustainably service our debts and then expand the economy the way forward. So it's good news. It's going to definitely have an impact on our fiscals, and therefore it's something that, if it is successful, would definitely help the Ghanaian economy to recover as soon as possible.
From where you sit, would you say that the cancellation is the solution to our current challenge Because we have had this before during HIPC.
No, that is not a solution to our challenges. It might be a solution to our immediate crisis.
Okay.
And for us to be able to tackle the real issues that confront us as a country. I mean, if you are dying, the doctors need to save you first before they begin to look at the ailment that is killing you. And that is where Ghana is at the moment. So it is not going to be the solution to our problems. The solution to our problems is for us to turn our economy into a productive economy that is less import dependent, an economy that is creating jobs for the youth, an economy that is ensuring that we are able to sustainably service our debts, to have enough resources to expand the economy and create jobs. The solution are medium to long-term solutions. And this support, if we get it from the IMF and we get it from our creditors, is just to free us of the burden that is on our economy now, so that we begin to tackle the critical issues that confront us. So it is not a solution to our problems, not at all.
All right, so what will you tell those who argue that maybe Ghana should be made to pay for its own debts?
I mean, we don't have the money to do that. If we had the money, we wouldn't have been at this point. I mean, there's no money to do that. So, I mean, a key lesson from all of this is to try as much as possible to make sure that we're able to raise enough revenue, rationalize our expenditure so that we cut our coats according to the cloth size that we have, so that we don't go back to building up on debts that we cannot sustainably service. And it's very important that we do some structural changes in the economy for us to be able to move on.
All right, so finally, before I let go of you, do you have a fair idea as to how long this is likely to happen if indeed the IMF goes ahead to talk to our creditors? Any timelines? We can hardly hear you, Dr. Buteksin. All right, so we understand there is some challenge in connecting to Professor Buteksin. We shall get back to him subsequently for more. But let's move away from that and do the story. ABSA is projecting a fairly stable Ghana cedi against the US dollar for this year. This was captured in the ABSA Bank's 2022 Foreign Exchange Market Report. The report, however, based the projected stability on some conditions. There is more in the following Business Desk reports.
ABSA Bank in its report noted that even though the Ghana cedi will still face some challenges this year, its performance against the US dollar will be better than what the country witnessed in 2022. ABSA was optimistic that the cedi stability will be largely influenced by Ghana closing an IMF program in the first quarter of 2023. It however noted that local currency may experience some slight challenges until the current uncertainties around the country's debts are finally resolved. For some analysts, the forecast may bring some comfort to businesses that were initially worried about earlier prediction that the cedi will come under serious pressure against the US dollar again for this year. ABSA in its report also pegged the Ghana cedi's end-of-year depreciation at 40% to the US dollar. Some have also argued that if the cedi should stabilize firmly against the US dollar this year, that could aid in the recovery of Ghana's economy despite prediction of global recession.
Now, the chairman of McDan Group, Dr. Daniel Macaulay, has advised young people to wish to become global business leaders not to compromise on standards. According to him, maintaining high standards is the only way for Ghanaian companies to be globally competitive. Speaking on the Super Morning Show today, Dr. Macaulay cited examples of businesses he has expanded by ensuring international standards.
I have traveled all over the world, and I can tell you, the private jet terminal we have in Ghana is more beautiful than that of New York, more beautiful than that of Heathrow in the UK. I'm just coming from Paris. And what we have in Ghana, Paris comes nowhere near what we have there. You can pass there and have a look at it. It's world-class standard. The only place I saw something close is in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is the standard. We need to set certain bars so that the young coming will be able to meet that bar. Many a times in Ghana, we sell too low bars. Our standards are too low, and it's frustrating. And look at my salt business. I decided not to talk about it till I hit 1 million metric tons. And Ghana can do 10 to 15 million metric tons of salt, and we can be number one in Africa. Why are we not doing it? Because we set too low bars. And being the private sector, the generation that should come after me so supposed to be taller than me. Immediately the generation that come after me are shorter than me, then I am a failure.
Let's now go to the ports where the president of the Association of Custom House Agents Ghana, Yao Che, says businesses at the port are reeling over challenges leading to redundancy in some cases. Several factors, including port additional surcharge, freight charges, exchange rate, high cost of doing business, among others, are responsible for the current situation. Yao Che disclosed this to Joy Business at their second annual general meeting in Tema. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has more in the following reports.
Businesses at the port are plagued with numerous challenges, including exchange rate, freight charges, government policies, and a host of others. In 2021, a 20-footer container of 15-kilogram margarine was cleared at 52,900 Ghana cedis, but the same product as at November 2022 was cleared at 64,580 Ghana cedis. President of the Association of Customs House Agents Ghana, Yao Che, says businesses are collapsing as a result of these.
Our jobs execution have gone as low as about 40% because the importers and even the exporters are not bringing the containers as we wish, and the exporters are also exporting the containers as we wish. So when we come to the terminals, we go to the shipping lines, jobs have gone down so low. Now, when jobs go down so low, it also affects the businesses, the companies who employ these youth to help them earn some living on a daily basis. And therefore, it has gotten to a point where others have retrenched or declared some redundant. And some of you, for the past 3 months, those who even want to go home, so some of you tell you that I want to go home, you keep me on until things improve. So for about 3 months, some of the employees have not been paid. And that's how serious the problem is.
On his part, the president of Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obin, asked if the country could cope should importation be stopped for 6 months.
Our backs are broken. I think it's about time to give a pause in importation. We have to pause for the nation to realize the importance of the role that the traders do in this country. Let's assume that we stop importation for 6 months and see how the nation will get to in terms of revenue mobilization, in terms of availability of simple, essential commodities.
And that's it for the marketplace for today. I am Pious, Kojo Backah. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Grateful serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.